Denver Post sports writer Patrick Saunders posts his Rockies mailbag every other week on Tuesdays during the season and once per month during the off-season. Pose a Rockies, or MLB, related question for the Rockies mailbag. Patrick, has Bud Black made a decision yet on who is going to be his opening day starter? Kyle, Aurora As I write this, I'm sure Black has made his decision, but he just hasn't told us yet. I'm betting he'll let us know today, Tuesday, and I'm betting it will be left-hander Kyle Freeland. That will be quite an honor for the Denver native and proud graduate of Thomas Jefferson High School. Freeland is also a buddy of my nephew, Dylan Saunders, but I digress. There is a backstory to Black announcing his opening day starter. It's become something of a tradition for Jenny Kavner, the Rockies reporter and host for it. She usually fires the question early in camp, and Black, with a twinkle in his eye, dodges her question. I think that tradition dates back to Kavner's days covering Black in San Diego. Anyway, the last week the media asked Black about the topic and he said he would hold off on the announcement until 18 other teams had named their starter, or until Kavner returned to spring training. When she showed up this week, after covering college hoops, we were sure Black would make the announcement on Monday. But he crushed our hopes when he delayed the announcement. Mr. Black can be a sly one, right, Jenny? I used to think my largest fear in baseball was that the Rockies would not win a World Series in my lifetime. Now, looking at some of the rule changes MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred is considering for the future, specifically changing the distance between home plate and the pitching rubber, I am more concerned that Manfred will alter the integrity of the game, that I will not be able to enjoy the sport I love any longer. Manfred is the only commissioner of any sport who seems convinced his sport is boring, and seems hell-bent on alienating baseball purists, while I highly doubt he will attract any non-baseball fans. This leads me to two questions. 1. Is there hope that enough players and owners will consider these ideas stupid to stop them from being put into place? 2. Wouldn't a more effective way to grow baseball's fan base be to negotiate some sort of Game of the Week deal with stations like NBC and CBS, like they used to have back in the day, to make the game more accessible to the millions of Americans who can't afford the pricey cable deals necessary to see a regular season game? Isaac Bowen, Wellington, I appreciate your passion for the game. Let me start off by saying that baseball is a long, long way from moving the pitching rubber from the traditional 60 feet, 6 inches, where it's been since 1893. The radical rule change is currently only going to be an experiment in the Independent Atlantic League, in partnership with Major League Baseball. I don't think it will be implemented in the major leagues. Manfred is concerned about the length of baseball games, and more specifically about the slow pace of play. In my opinion, he's distressed by declining TV ratings. I think baseball is overreacting. Yes, attendance dipped last year, but I think the overall state of the game is good. I don't mind moves to speed up the game. I think 3.5 hours is way too long, but I don't want to change the essence of the game. Here is my recent column on the topic. As for your second question, I don't think a Game of the Week on broadcast TV is ever going to happen. For better or worse, sports in general and baseball in particular, has become dependent on cable TV and online streaming. There's too much money at stake to go back to a broadcast Game of the Week, though you can still find that on ESPN or the MLB network. We have two questions regarding Mark Reynolds and Pat Valaika. Patrick, there is a Rockies poll on the Denver Post's Rockies page about Valaika or Reynolds making the opening day roster, and I wanted your thoughts. Poll: who would you rather see on the opening day roster for the Rockies, Pat Valaika or Mark Reynolds? JB, Aurora. So if Ryan McMahon and Garrett Hampson platoon at second base, and Reynolds backs up Daniel Murphy, does that make Valaika the odd man out? George Snyder, Westminster. JB and George, those are good questions. We'll probably have to wait about another week to get the answer. Here's the dilemma: the Rockies only have room for Reynolds or Valaika, but not both. Valaika has options, meaning he can be sent back to the minors and then called up when needed. If Reynolds doesn't make the major league team, he's gone. Valaika has had a great camp, but the specter of his bad 2018 season still lingers. If the Rockies are confident Valaika can produce off the bench as well or better than Reynolds, then Valaika makes the team and Reynolds might retire. It's a tough call, but I'm thinking that Reynolds is on the team and Valaika starts at AAA Albuquerque. Patrick, what's your take on the new, improved Tulo? Seems from a distance that he finally feels at home, like it's where he's yearned to be all this time. John, Denver John, I'm not sure what you mean by new and improved. I'd wish former Rockies star shortstop Troy Tulowitzki nothing but the best, but I think we need to wait and see how his time in a Yankees uniform plays out. He recently got a small dose of revenge by hitting a Grapefruit League homer against the Blue Jays, the team that cut him and ate the $38 million left on his contract. As I write this, Tulo is batting .259, 7 for 27, with 1 double and 3 homers, but also 11 strikeouts, in 11 exhibition games. Has Tulo always yearned to play in New York? Perhaps, but I think that's overblown. I think he just wants to stay healthy, play well and finally win a ring. How much emphasis does spring training have on the opening day lineup? The baseball seems to look like a beach ball to McMahon so far in camp, but I think Hampson is better defensively. What's the feeling you're getting for who starts at second base come March 28th? Stephen L. Denver Stephen, I've covered this topic in stories and in a previous mailbag, but let me express my thoughts again. Rockies Black has indicated that they will both see significant playing time at second, not a platoon, per se, but you'll see both play there a lot. Given the incredible spring McMahon has had, I think he starts on opening day. His spring is even trumping Trevor Story's incredible 2016. McMahon has actually looked very good at second. I agree that Hampson is a better fielder, and he's also versatile, so we're going to see him play in the infield and outfield. Patrick, since Black said he is not going to carry 3 catchers, what is the Rockies' plan for the backup catcher spot? Are they going to give the job to Tom Murphy or will they give it to Tony Wolters and expose Murphy to waivers since he is out of minor league options? Aaron Hurt, Omaha, Nebraska. Hey Aaron, thanks for chipping in with another question. This is a really tough call for the Rockies, and one that I wrote about recently. We don't know yet how this is going to come down. In fact, I think the Rockies are still wrestling with the decision. If this was all about power potential at the plate, I think the Rockies keep Murphy and send Wolters down to AAA. But it's not. It's about defense behind the plate, game calling and the relationship with pitchers. I could very well be wrong, but I think the Rockies will go with Ionetta and Wolters. Right now I think Murphy is either traded or exposed to waivers. Spring training is almost over. The MLB season is about to start and March Madness is going to tip off this week. Who do you have as your national champion this year? Longmont March Madness? You mean the 30-point shot Nolan Arenado sank down here at spring training? Oh wait, you mean the NCAA tournament. If I say Duke, I'll be shunned and labeled an elitist. I catch enough grief from a certain segment of Rockies fans, so I'm going to make a daring pick and go with. Drum roll, please, Wofford. I'm kidding. I think Duke beats North Carolina for the title. Send your angry emails to Saunders@denverpost.com. What's happening with Carlos Gonzalez? Have the Rocks cut him loose or is he still in the mix for right field? I haven't read anything about him this spring. Scott Whipple, Middletown, CT Scott, I'm sure you know by now that Gonzalez signed a minor league deal with the Indians this week. I think he'll make the team and get significant playing time. Cargo became a free agent after the 2018 season, ending a great 10-year run in Colorado. The Rockies never had any intention in trying to re-sign him, choosing instead to go with the youth and promise of David Dahl and Raimel Tapia. Denver Post sports writer Patrick Saunders posts his Rockies Mailbag every other week on Tuesdays during the season and once per month during the off-season. Pose a Rockies, or MLB, related question for the Rockies Mailbag.